Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's on disneyplus.com, a weekly Q&A. This week is a pre-recorded video and we've got lots of questions that have been sent in from our Patreons and YouTube channel members. Next week we'll be back with our live schedule and plan is to be live for the rest of the year. Literally just got back off of vacation, so therefore I am probably either driving or I'm now asleep. One of those two things. So let's jump into some of the questions. We've got quite a lot of good ones here. So Tom says, do you think they'll make another Simpsons movie, possibly as a Disney Plus original, or maybe a Family Guy, American Dad, or Solar Opposite movie? I think a Solar Opposite movie could be right, but I think I don't know if they were going to make another one. I mean, I think a movie might be a way for them to get around the legal issues with all of those shows, getting stuff on there. But I don't know. I mean, maybe it might be a way of getting around the rules, and it might be a little bit cheaper. So yeah, I wouldn't be at all surprised. And it's a massive hit on Disney Plus, The Simpsons. Tom also says, I don't know about you, but I won't watch most of FX shows unless I really want to until it gets renewed for a second season, because if it's worth making more than one, it's worth watching. I don't know. I feel like a lot of the FX shows generally are kind of more like a limited series. And I will say there's one thing. If I know a series has been cancelled before I've started watching it, it does make me either not watch it or don't bother. So I get a little bit of that. If I don't know about it, then I'm much more likely to give it a go. We've had a lot here in the UK where the shows are ended up coming onto Disney Plus after they've been cancelled, and therefore it was like, no point. I mean, like most recently, like Maggie, I haven't watched it. It's been cancelled, so I probably won't watch it. I mean, I might give it a go, but generally the general consensus is if they cancel it, there's no point really watching it. I do feel like with FX, they're a lot less. They seem to be a lot less trigger happy on canceling stuff. They seem to give things a little bit longer to go. And for me, FX shows are much more. They're generally very high quality. So I get what you're saying. But I won't necessarily not watch it because it hasn't been renewed. But I know I won't watch it once I know it hasn't. Yes, there's definitely how that would work. Dana says, do you think Netflix or Apple could look to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery over Comcast? I don't think Netflix is in a position to buy anything, and I don't think they will do. They've not brought anything in the last few years when they needed to. And Apple seem to be doing their own thing. They just seem to be cruising on. They don't seem to be looking to jump into that next stage. So I don't think neither of them are going to do it. Man Mouse says, do you think that the non-Disney produced Hulu originals will move to Disney Plus when the merger happens? I suspect it depends on the agreement. I expect any new agreements being made are much more flexible on Disney's point of view. But yeah, I think we're going to see most of them shifting over. Tim says, did you think that the D23 Expo is worth going to? So for me personally, the D23 Expo this year was such an incredible experience. I've been wanting to go for over 10 years. This is the first time I was ever to go. I loved it. I want to go back. With regards to whether or not it's worth going, for me personally, obviously, I was working the entire weekend. I was doing things from the panels and doing press stuff and a whole host of bits and pieces. So I know for me personally, I was just manic. I really did. I hit the ball running, and I was doing lots. And I was lucky enough to able to go to all the big panels because I brought. Luckily, when I went to buy my tickets, one of the preferred tickets was available, so I brought that one, which meant I could go to all of the stage, and I knew I could go. Now, when it comes up again in maybe 2024 or 2025, if I can get a ticket like that, I'm gonna do it again. I definitely feel like that was worth it for me. I think going out from the UK, obviously, with the flights and everything, it wasn't cheap, but essentially that I had like the whole of the COVID session where I could save because we weren't doing anything. So I was able to save up to do it and do it. I have a lot of fun. I went to Disneyland, had a couple of days there, meeting up with friends. For me personally, it was a fantastic experience, but I could see if you're going out there and you aren't going to all the panels and you're maybe not interested in all the movies and stuff, it might not be quite worth it, or it might just be worth going for a day or two. Yeah, but for me, I totally enjoyed it. I was not let down in the slightest. I came away extremely happy with everything. I just had a blast. I thought it was fantastic. Tom says, will there be a total of 5 seasons for the Mysterious Benedict Societies to cover all the books? I think it depends on how well season 2 does. If season 2 does well, much more likely, I'm hoping they will do. But they've got to get on it quick because those kids will be growing up. So they've got to do that. Baba says, do you think that Disney will acquire some third-party content for Disney Plus in the future? Well, they're constantly acquiring licensed content, especially internationally. We've got loads of stuff dropping in as either originals or as just third-party content. And I think you are going to see more content dropping onto Disney Plus. You know, they are now, especially internationally, where they're trying to get those international quotas up. They are buying stuff up. You know, they're in now competition. It's not just now about the Disney vote and the Disney, you know, they're now a major streaming service in the same way that Amazon and Netflix are. Man says, have you seen the first episode of Dancing with the Stars on Disney Plus? And if yes, what did you think of the show and the live stream? So no, I haven't seen it. But with Strictly Come Dancing on at pretty much the same week, I'm not watching 2 dancing shows a week. So I'm going to keep with the UK one because I know who they are. I only know like 3 of the celebrities from the US one, which makes it very tricky. But having Len and Bruno and stuff there is pretty cool. Tom says, what FX shows are you most looking forward to? So at the minute, I'm looking forward to watching The Old Man and the Bear, which are both coming to Disney Plus. They've come to Disney Plus this week, but obviously I have not watched them. So they're on my to-do list to watch this month. Also looking forward to Alien and Shogun. Those are the 2 big ones that I'm looking forward to in the future. Matt says, do you think Hulu will lose a lot of content or decrease in value? Yes and yes. Hulu is going to continue to lose content because Hulu is going to be outbid by other companies, but more importantly, they aren't really going to be wanting to spend a lot of money. They're picking out little bits and pieces. And I think the only stuff they are getting and maybe things they can shift over to Disney Plus. But yeah, I just don't think Disney are really, really focused now on Hulu. Tom says, do you think they will make a Free Guy too? I thought they already have said that they are working on one. And I don't see why not. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great movie. Bubba Trolling says, I think that Hulu Live is not going to be its own app because Disney Plus has live streams. I don't know. I think Hulu Live TV might live on as a separate app, as a separate thing, and might keep that one going, and they might even try and sell it off separately. They could do it like that. I think that like $70-$80 a month is a lot, and having it as its own separate service might be a little bit easier to try and sell what it is rather than at the minute of. So I disagree on that one. I think it's going to stay as it is. I don't think Disney Plus is going to be having live content on there. Tom says, will the Percy Jackson series cover all the books or continue on from the Fox film? They're not doing anything to do with the Fox film. Nothing to do with them. They're going to be going book by book. If the first season does well, there are plans then for them to do the other books into other series. But that first series is going to have to do well in terms of viewership. Man says, one comment that's been overlooked from Chapek's comments in the fate of ESPN Plus and if it will merge with Disney Plus like Hulu. And he said there are no plans to integrate both services. Could this be an indication that ESPN Plus and Disney Plus will remain separate for the foreseeable future? 100%. I feel like ESPN is going to be kept separate because it's more expensive. If they merge Disney Plus and ESPN Plus together, that is a lot of money. You're looking at maybe 20 plus bucks a month. And that's too much. I don't think people will pay for it, especially if you don't want sports. I think sports should be separate. That doesn't mean, however, that I could see ESPN Plus being available as an add-on within Disney Plus. I could see, you go into an ESPN hub, you get all the 30 for 30, maybe a few free live stuff, and then you can upgrade to get all the content. Like they've done with Hulu. I think they are going to remain kind of separate, but there will be like a bundle. Tom says, do you think the Disney Plus UI needs updating? Yes, I think it constantly needs tweaking, and they needs to be constantly tweaking it, changing things, making little differences. Personally, I like them to try and get rid of all these just cubes, just rectangles, maybe try and mix it up a bit so it's not quite so bland of just rolling through. They've tried stuff, and they haven't done a lot of stuff. There are other things I'd like them to make it a little bit more noticeable what's new in terms of new episodes. I like them to put little warnings in when things are leaving. And if they merge it in with Hulu, they're going to have to do that more. They can't just keep taking stuff off. And our final question is, Bubba says, do you think that Disney will close down at Disney Now? I think so eventually. Obviously, that's a streaming service for cable networks that I think eventually they're going to close that one down. I don't see why they would want to keep that on going. Probably once the contract ends with whoever they've got left, they will then get rid of it. But it will be gone eventually. Well, there we go, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you check back next week where we'll be back with a live Q&A, and we'll be doing live again for the rest of the year. On that note, guys, thank you very much. See you guys soon. Laters. Thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure you go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Like, follow, and subscribe. Also, a huge thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon and also on our YouTube channel memberships. And I shall see you guys in another video. Laters.